What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I'm the real Matlock, a criminal defense attorney, and today we are talking about Alec Baldwin's first day, real day in court. Today was opening statements. We started today a little bit behind because we were supposed to start around 10:30 Mountain or 8:30 Mountain Time, which is 10:30 Eastern Time. It seems like we didn't get started to somewhere near closer to 11. It started out with a sidebar, so you can tell this case is going to be really, really contentious. We had a lot of sidebars today. We had a lot of objections today. But the state started out first on the opening statements because they have the burden of proof. And that was when Erlinda Johnson, she gave the opening statements for the state. And it really surprised a lot of people because we were expecting Carrie Morrissey. Carrie Morrissey is the one who's been driving this case, and she's really fiery and really animated. So you thought that she would be a good pick for opening statements, but Erlinda Johnson did a really good job. She's got a really good soothing voice. She laid all the necessary elements for the reasons why Alec Baldwin would be responsible for this involuntary manslaughter. Then next came up with Alex Spiro with the defense, and I think if we had a meter, we're trying to tip the scales to see who did the best on opening statements, I would have to give it to Alec Spiro. Alec Spiro did a better job of putting some emotion into it, for really laying it out. Everything that the state had said, he had a good and valid reason for the reasons why that the state was incorrect, and why Alex Baldwin should be found not guilty of this crime. And a lot of it had to do with the armor Hannah Gutierrez Reed and Dave Halls, because he painted a picture that Alec Baldwin was just an actor. And when the actor's been told there's a cold gun, that means that it's already went through the safety precautions before it got to him. There's a checks and balances, starting with the assistant director and the armorer, making sure that the gun is actually a cold gun. So when it comes to the actor, his job is just to act. And I thought that was really good. I thought that hit home with the jury. And then we became direct of the state, and the state brought on a couple officers. And really what this is just to establish jurisdiction. It's also to establish a foundation to bring in the body cam footage that they wanted to show to the jury. I think a lot of us have already seen that body cam footage. But the big thing here today, and it was off-putting to a lot of people, including myself, was the way that Carrie Morrissey objected to everything. And in her objections, she was belittling the defense team. She was on her redirect after the cross of the defense. On her redirect, she was very condescending in her questions. She would ask the state, like, "Oh, I cannot believe the defense asked you this question. Look how dumb they are." That was kind of the question. That's kind of her line of questions on redirect. So I think that's something that, really went through her, because her judgment and her character as a prosecutor is on the line here too. If she wants to portray herself in that way, then she's portraying that she may have done some sort of injustice to Alec Baldwin in this investigation because of her demeanor. But I've got these clips for you guys to watch from the relevant parts of the day. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, I'm a criminal defense attorney. My name is The Real Matlock. Be sure to subscribe to this page and so you can see this in future videos. Thank you.
When someone plays make-believe with a real gun in a real-life workplace, and while playing make-believe with that gun violates the cardinal rules of firearm safety, people's lives are endangered, and someone could be killed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what this case is about. It's simple, it's straightforward. The evidence will show that someone who played make-believe with a real gun and violated the cardinal rules of firearm safety is the defendant, Alexander Baldwin. Learned that prior to arriving on the set to work, he requested to be assigned the biggest gun available. So he was assigned this revolver. a replica of an 1873 single-action revolver manufactured by Pieta Firearms in Italy. The evidence will show, ladies and gentlemen, that like in many workplaces, there are people who act in a reckless manner and place other individuals. The defendant handled this firearm. He did not do a safety check with that inexperienced armorer. And you'll hear that the reason he didn't do a safety check is because he didn't want to offend her. The evidence you will see will paint a real mind, worked perfectly fine as it was designed, and that the fatal and one of the main problems that afternoon of October 21st was that the defendant didn't do a gun safety check with that inexperienced armorer. He pointed the gun at another human being, cocked the hammer, and pulled that trigger in reckless disregard for Ms. Hutchins' safety. And you will be convinced that the only true and just verdict in this case, so that true justice can be served, is a verdict of guilty to involuntary manslaughter. Thank you.
This was an unspeakable tragedy, but Alec Baldwin committed no crime. He was an actor acting, playing the role of Harlan Rust. An actor playing a character can act in ways that are lethal, that just aren't lethal on a movie set. These cardinal rules, they're not cardinal rules on a movie set. And I don't have to tell you much more about this because you've all seen gunfights in movies. The reason that can happen is because safety is ensured before the actor. On this movie set, there were people responsible for ensuring the safety of the set and the firearm. Those people failed in their duties, but Alec Baldwin committed no crime. Disputed that the bullet was loaded into the gun by the armorer, the person on set whose responsibility it was to ensure the gun was safe. And so picture that moment of the armorer placing a live bullet into that firearm. You know, you hear the prosecutor say, you know, he did this or he performed in a certain way. He picked out the biggest gun as his prop. It's to tarnish him in your eyes. Your gun comes back, cold gun. They call it again. Same gun, again, safe. The first assistant director, Dave Halls, head of safety for the entire film, a man with decades of experience, comes and takes the additional step and inspects the gun. Verifies again, cold gun. Everyone relax. Go back to focus on the making of a movie. There's nothing in the gun that can hurt anybody. And Alex sits on that pew. And the creative directors, the crew, they're moving around him, in front of him. And Harlan Rust, he begins, like the prosecutor told you, rehearsing, acting on a movie set with a prop gun. AD, it was his responsibility.